Hey everyone, it's Amador, and welcome to Magic Monday again. And this is a little collab that I'm doing with my crafty BFF Sabrina. And she's doing Fantasmic Fridays. I am doing Magic Mondays. And also, you guys, check out her channel right now. She has all of these amazing Disney embellishment boxes that she is making and she is selling. So check her out, you guys. You will not be at all disappointed. You got to check it out. So today, if you guys can see, today's little theme for our project is the Disney Dole Whip. Why? Because it is amazingly delicious. Side note, if you guys have a Menchie's yogurt shop in your area, they do have Dole Whips and they have Dole floats. Oh my gosh, trust me, the one here in Vegas, or the one that we go all the freaking time. Super awesome. If I can find the pictures, I'll put a picture in the link in the description. They have the Dole soft serve, and they can also make you Dole floats. So you have to check it out if you're not near Disney. If you are, I'm super jelly. But anyhow, I went ahead and I made these. Let me just get a little close up. These little, like paper, Dole Whips out of a couple of stamp sets that are currently available. I know that some of the projects I've been doing are stamp sets and stuff that I've had in my stash, but these are available, and look how freaking cute. And of course, you guys, I will have the entire process after the little intro that you guys can watch with the voiceover. And let me grab the supplies. Let me show you guys what I use to make these little dough floats. Now, this is part of the project. I actually made 2 cards, which I'm totally in love with. Love, 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 love. So, like, you guys don't understand, like, I want to just lick this piece of paper. Like, that's not right, but whatever. So, this is what I use for the Dole Whip. This is a new stamp set by Hero Arts, and it is called Color Layering Ice Cream. And this is how you layer it up. It's got the ice cream scoop and the swirls right here. You can see it. This is in pink, but I went ahead and did, of course, in the yellow for the pineapple, the Dole pineapple. I used this one and that one, and for the swirl. Now, for the bowl, the little bowl that it comes in, I used this set. This is by Paper Tray Ink. This is Tea for Two. And this is a 2-for-2 add-on. I used this cup right here, the teacup, and I just masked off the little handle, and that's what I used. I was this close, actually this close, to just cutting that puppy off and using it that way because I wanted it. But I liked how I wanted to keep this stamp how it was because I do have the solid ones, the pattern ones, and this one that you can do out of any color paper. So if anything, you can actually use it with the handle. You can use this stamp to make a chip stamp for, you know, from Beauty and the Beast. Just add a little crack right here with the pen. So I used that. I used my rounded corner stitched frame dies by Little Inker, and this was a gift from Carol for my birthday, so thank you, Carol. Hey, if you're watching. And let me see the inks that I used, if I can find them in my pile of mess. Like, this part looks really clean, trust me. All of that looks like a hot total mess. I used this ink, and this is a Stampin' Up! Ink, Daffodil Delight. I use this for the stamping, and I use this, now you see 2 colors. I stamped off for the solid one, for the solid stamp, and then I stamped just regular on the swirl, on the shadowy part. So, and for the little cup, the bowl, I used this Milan Fawn Merman ink. I absolutely love this ink. Like, I love that color. It's just too cute. Let's see here. For the... I did use some sequin. This is a sequence by Pretty Pink Posh, and this one is the limited edition Easter. It had some yellows and some blues, so I felt that it would go very well. But I also added some of this. This is from the Martha Stewart ones. This is the little heart and the stars. I think I added too many sequins, but it's too cute. I can't help it. And of course, I used my dimensional foam. You guys, I get this on Amazon. I'll have the link in the description. So let me show you what I made. So yes, I did this. I did make a mask for the bowl for the inside because I wanted it to be completely rounded for the bowl right there, and that's the one I used, the mask I used for the swirls. And then of course I just used a little mask where I cut off the handle for the for the bowl. I originally did... Ooh, this is just on paper, and I did it with black ink for the bowl, and I felt that it was too dark. I felt like the bowl took away from the actual swirl, so I wanted to make it like a little light blue, like if it was plastic. So, but yes, that was just, I absolutely love. I spent quite some time figuring this out perfectly, and like I said, I will have the process video right after this so you can see how I did that. And let me show you my cards. This is the first card I made. Now, these fonts, this is just a basic font from my Cameo. I did print this up. Where is the paper? Let me see. I printed it in a few different ways. Here we go. I printed it in landscape and in portrait just to see how it would look like. I'm planning to make another card and use this, cut this out to use the sentiment on the side. This is just a basic sentiment. This is the Walt font from DaFont, and I'll leave the link in the description for the Dole Whip. I did it that way, and I did it this way because I was going to put two little Dole Whips right here. But I smudged this, so I didn't use this. You can see right there, scandalous. I smudged it. I didn't heat set it. When you print anything, you should really heat set it for your project. I heat set these when I was doing the watercoloring, the water splotting thing. So with the same ink, I went ahead and I splotted. I did the, you stamp it on the ink on an acetate, spray some water. I use this thing. I do have, FYI, I do have like the other sprayers, but this one is amazing. This one is actually for a hair salon, and it has like this really soft mist. I don't even know what it's called, but they also have them at Hobby Lobby, FYI. And let me see. Like, that's how soft of a mist you get, and you get a super, super consistent soft mist. I know everybody wants a little splotchy. Personally, you're paying extra to have a broken sprayer, but I really like the way that one works. Let me just clean this off because I have water on here now. Okay, of course, why not? And I went ahead and put, these are just some clear sequins, but they have kind of like a yellowish glow. So, and these are these, they're here somewhere. These are the ones that you can get at Joann's or at Michael's, or I think at Joann's. And they're just clear, the crystal ones. But once you put them over something, it kind of reflects that color. So I really like the way it did. I just did a few of them, just sprinkled around here. And dimensional foam, of course. But here they are. All I Need You and a Dole Whip. Totally, totally cute. So this could be like for a hello card, a birthday card, anything, for Valentine's Day even, because it could be for a friend or it could be for a loved, your significant other. All I need is you and a Dole Whip. Of course, the Dole Whip is a little bit bigger than the you, but you know, whatever, priorities, whatever. And this is just a card. I think I'm just going to maybe glue one of these, or I might just stamp the swirl on the inside. I didn't even think about that, but I went ahead and did this. Now I do show you how I do these cards. I use heavyweight cardstock to do my bases, so you can't run that folded through the through your Big Shot and stuff. But once you just glue this on, you can literally just cut around the edges. But I totally loved it. And just splattered the, and you guys know I really don't like, well, I mean, if you guys follow me, you guys know that I really don't like crafting with yellow, but this is acceptable. Okay, so let me show you the second one. Oh my gosh, my love. This is my shaker card. Now this one I did use the larger font, and in retrospect I shouldn't have put so many sequins, but it works. And it says all I need is use a Dole Whip. I have a Dole Whip inside the shaker, and it's stuck in there. Of course, why wouldn't it be, right? And I adhered one on the outside. And this one I actually die cut the center with the top, the first one, the largest one, and the second largest one. That was the center, and I laid that on the inside. Of course, some of that dimensional foam, and on heavyweight cardstock. But I tried to open it to take out some of the sequins. But I'm like, you know what? You can see what it is, and I absolutely love it. But the other one is stuck behind it. There we go. So you can jimmy it out. But yeah, I'm totally distracted. Sorry, you guys. So those are my two cards. Like I said, the masterpiece of my little craziness right now are my Dole Whip soft serve little ephemera embellishments. I don't even know what to call them. And of course, when I cut them by hand. I cut them with a border just like any kind of sticker or ephemera, and that way it's honestly easier. Because if I was trying to get right on the line, I would have slit my wrist with the scissors. But there they are. I hope you guys like them. So yeah, sorry I've been MIA. And some people are going to be like, stop shaking it. Sorry I've been MIA, but I'm trying to get back on track. Hope you like these embellishments. And like I said, check the process video right after this. Okay, you guys? Right there. And so here we go, getting started. These are the stamps, like I showed you guys, that I use to make the Dole Whips. And I start with the ink, and like I said, I first do I like doing the top, what would be the top layer first, because the solid, it's much easier to layer the solid over it once you have finished. And I could have made like 6 or 7 of the masks for the bowl, but I just wanted to do one at a time, and it worked out just fine. And here I am using that same ink, but of course I'm stamping it off once and then layering it over the swirls, the darker swirls. And I feel when you do it this way, when you do it backwards, it kind of makes the top layer, what would be the top layer, the darker layer, give it a softer tone. And I actually like the way it looks that way. So here I am doing the bowl now. I'm taking the teacup stamp and, of course, making a little mask for the handle. And like I said, I was like 2 seconds away from just cutting off the handle. But I knew that I would want to use the teacup the way originally was intended in the future. So I'm using the Lawn Fawn Mermaid ink and Merman ink and just masking off. And to keep from letting the ink saturate through the post-it note, I just made I took one post-it sheet, and just made several little cuts, and just went ahead and cut one by one as I needed it, so it wouldn't be so saturated. And here I am using a white jelly pen. I totally forgot to mention that if there are some little boo-boos, some little parts that didn't mask off completely, I went ahead and used the white jelly pen to cover up those little edges, the marks where the ink went over. And voila, no one's none the wiser. So don't tell anybody, it's a big, big secret. And here I am now cutting out the embellishments, the Dole Whip embellishments. And I like using my Martha Stewart scissors. I don't use those tiny, like, precision scissors that people like to use. I have chunky fingers, and they don't fit in there. So basically, there's no point. But I really like the way how sharp the Martha Stewart scissors. I think I've had these for like good 2 years, and they're still solid and perfect. I have separate ones for fabric and ribbon and stuff, so I don't mess up these. But here I am, and I'm trying to cut them with a little bit of border, so it looks like an actual like produced ephemera or embellishment. But I like to swirl the paper in the area and then just slowly close the scissors to give it like a finer cut. And instead of going in one fell swoop all the way around, I do go in sections, but I always turn the scissors off to the right and then cut off a piece of paper, and that way you can continue when you start again cutting towards the actual image. But I went ahead and cut all of them. I think in total I made, 6, 8? Because I wanted to have several so I can make several cards or just use them as little ephemera, little embellishments. Here is the face of, I've already gone ahead and die cut it with my rounded corner stitched frames from Little Inker. I went ahead and just grabbed a piece of acetate and blotted the ink from the yellow ink onto the little piece of acetate, and then I went ahead and tested it first, but then sprayed it with water, touched it a little bit, and then went ahead and blotted it on the face of the card and wiped some away with just a paper towel, and then went ahead and heat set it with my heat tool. And here I am making these are actually A2 size cards, so I went ahead and cut an 8.5 by 11 sheet down the middle, gave it 4.25 by 5 by 11, cut it down, and then I just adhered the face of the card that I had already ink blotted. Now I went ahead and cut the corners because I'm not able to run heavyweight cardstock doubled up through the through my my Big Shot. But just I chop off the corners, super duper easy, and you're ready to go. And so here I am just putting on some dimensional foam onto my embellishments. Like, you don't understand how much I love these things. Like, oh my gosh, I feel like they're good enough to eat. And just a little bit, oh my gosh, I had so much trouble. It's been so long since I've glued sequins onto a card. The first one took me forever, and I was like, oh my god, it's coming apart. Then I have one of those pickup sticks. It's cool to pick up stuff, but when you put it down, you need to really hold it down with the other end to make sure it stays down for it to be glued. I did this card first so I can set it aside and then let it dry, because I use glossy accents for it. But here I am preparing for the second card, and I'm just thinking of different ways to do it. But eventually I decided to do a shaker card, and use the two larger ones to make the frame. Of course, I cut this section out and then run it through my Big Shot. You don't see that in camera because my cutting station is away from this desk, so it's just easier to take it over there and just bring it back and just, of course, use some washi tape. And here it is. The funny thing is, though, I'm starting to make the base of the card, because I need to adhere the frame onto the card so it can then adhere the center piece right on the face of the card. And right here is when I realized, hey, I want to also distress it, give it that watercolor effect with the ink. And I go ahead and do the same process I did for the first card. The funny thing is, I should have thought about this before I even cut the frame out, so they both would have the watercolor effect. But I went ahead and I did that later on the frame, just in little sections, and I'm able to look out perfectly. You could never tell. Once again, here I am just rounding off the corners of the heavyweight cardstock, and to make sure that I have those soft corners. I put a little bit of adhesive on the frame, and then went ahead and adhered the face of the card, the base of it, to the center, and I pulled it off to be able to put on the acetate. Of course, I do add on the acetate with some score tape, because you want to make sure it sticks and it holds right away, as opposed to using wet glue, where it'll take much longer to dry. Now I'm just going to go ahead and adhere that to the back of the frame with the score tape, making sure that I'm layering it all over. And see, right here is where I take just a little bit of ink and a little bit of water, and I went ahead and added the watercolor effect to the frame, just little by little. And since it's on the outer parts, it actually looks like it goes. I go ahead and I double up my mounting foam, and I cut it in 3 rows, not just down the middle, in 3 sections, to make sure that it fits about the 1/4 inch size of the frame for it to completely work. And I doubled it because I want to add quite a bit of sequins and other cut-ups and stuff. But here it is, and I'm trying to figure out what sequins mix to use, but I end up using the Pretty Pink Posh limited edition Easter one. I'm pretty sure you can probably get it, but I really like just the way the colors were super light. And you'll see the pictures. I mean, you saw the pictures at the beginning. I actually ended up taking the second Dole Whip out of the actual card, and just left the one on the front part, on the face part of the card. So I'm just adding them right here, shaking it up, totally fell in love with it. I hope this gives you guys any ideas, give you guys some ideas for projects. And look how I took 2 stamp sets that I would have never even paid attention to together to make an embellishment that I absolutely fell in love for. So thank you guys for coming by. Check out Magic Monday next week, and also Sabrina's Fantasmic Friday. And I hope you guys are loving all this Disney magic. I can't wait to do more. FYI, I'm probably going to do extra. Thank you guys, and have a good day.